Alright, so welcome again everyone. We are back with the basic and not so basic Go techniques series, chapter 1. This time, how to settle your groups. I do believe many players asking this question to himself or herself: how should I settle my groups here? How should I create a good shape to run away or to attack or to just develop the board? Now, settle your groups or just a single stone has many good and many bad way, and deciding that our sequence was a success or a failure is not always that easy as it sounds like. Many things we need to consider. For example, the wall board, it has any effect on other corners, other shapes, some defects in the opponent shapes or our shapes. And also that we need to see, or we need to look for the value what we paid to gain a shape, because even if we manage to get a good shape, many times it happens that we paid too much to gain that good shape. And also, even if a shape is good, it can happen that it has not much function. I mean, we are used to looking for a shape which has more function, like connecting, making eyes, threatening, and so on. And also, it's really difficult sometimes to decide whenever a shape is good or bad. And by that I mean, sometimes it looks like that we have a good shape, we have a solid shape which has no weakness, which has no defect, but it can happen that it's just too slow, or at the same time it might be a fast shape but it has too much defect to exploit later for the opponent. Or it can happen that maybe we need to play a bad shape, or let's say a bad looking shape, but that can be the only good way to develop ourselves. For example, that's the only move that can prevent a connection from the opponent, or that's the only way to cut the opponent. And even though it looks like it's a bad shape, looks like it's a bad move, sometimes we need to play that. So in this video I bring you a few examples of these moves, these shapes, these developments, or how to settle your groups. And these won't be too deep variations, just some kind of a basic example. These kind of examples can happen in actual games, so these can be useful to trying to memorize or trying to use in your own games. And pretty much that's all for this video now. So here we can see 4 different kind of situations. Each time black need to play, and each time black is looking for a nice way to settle the stones. Now let's start with the upper right corner, where, as we can see, there are 5 black stones, and it looks like it's an easy way to settle. We can capture just the one single white stone with the Atari. But now the question is it good enough, or we have a better way? Let's just see what happens if we capture the one stone, right? So if we play an Atari and then white play an Atari, and if we just take and white connect, now what happened here? It looks like that, okay, we captured the one stone, and if we play S18 then we can leave easily, but somehow it feels like that black is a little bit over concentrated here. And also we need to keep in mind that even if we are aiming for a good shape, and even if we end up with a living shape or good shape, we should look for that the opponent shape as well. And here white is also pretty flexible. The white shape is also pretty nice, and if we don't play S18, the problem is that we are maybe not yet alive completely, so we end up in Gote, which is also kind of a painful thing. So I would say that this result is not that big of a success for black, so we should looking for a more clever way to settle ourselves. So what else we can play now? What else black can play here? What happens if we play another Atari? And also a proverb here for settle yourself, a useful proverb usually, that try to avoid Atari the cutting stones. And here is a good example when the proverb is not a good idea, because here if we play the Atari, then the white shape is already not that good like in the previous variation, and if we just extend here like this, white can try to resist and cut our stones, but fortunately if we just play P17, white cannot really connect these stones out because it ends up with Atari, and this means we are connected. We managed to take the corner, and the white 3 stone, as you can see, is not that effective as it was in the previous variation, in the very first variation. If white capture here, or try to capture the 1 stone, first thing first, we can consider to pull out, but we don't really need to pull out that 1 stone, because that 1 stone is not that important at the moment. Every time when you would like to save a stone, you need to ask yourself this question: do I need that stone right now? What's the strategical meaning of that 1 stone? That 1 stone has not much meaning because that's not creating eyes for us, that's not really eyes for the opponent as well, and we might can cut the Q70 stone with it, but that's also not really important for us. So actually this time we can just sacrifice Q16 stone and say, okay, let's play another Atari, and if I take, we are already underconnected, which means we managed to take the corner, we managed to gain a good and solid base, we are alive, which is the most important, and the white shape is not so effective. And if white Tanuki, for example, then we can just continue the game, and maybe later we are able to take Q17 as well, but that's just for endgame. So that's all for this shape here. Also, maybe black can consider just extend without playing any Atari or so. That's also probably a way to settle here. That can most probably end up the same, because what white can play here, if I just extend, we can just capture the 1 stone, so again we managed to take the corner, and the white shape is not that effective. So is there any way for white to resist? That's the main question here. Most probably not, because if white just extend again, we can play the same move as in the second variation, I think. Even though this is a bit better for white now, because now white can play this Atari, and white can play this move in center, and okay, we managed to capture the 2 stone again. The white shape is a little bit better, so maybe this is a little bit better result for white. I mean, this is still a perfect result for black. I mean, taking the corner, connecting ourselves, this is perfect for black. But as I said, we have 2 goals here: settle ourselves and looking for how to say, a bit destroying the opponent's shape. So this time white ended up with a not that bad shape, so this is a little bit better for white. I mean, if you are looking for just the white shape. So let's see the second example here, the lower right corner. And now somehow we would like to get out with R5 or just settle it. Let's see a really easy way first. What happens if you just play the Atari? Well, of course, white won't sacrifice it, and we can play another Atari. Again, white just pull out, we can push, white again just pull out, and it looks like yes, we are managed to go out. But actually this is a really bad result for black here, because right now our moves are not doing anything. These are not effective stones. These are dumb stones, neutral moves. We are not making any points. We are lack of eyes yet, and also lack of base. And these stones has not much effect on the bottom white shape as well. And in the same time, white is playing in the outside. White is gaining move in the center. The white moves are just much more effective at the moment. So this is the perfect example how to become heavy, even though if we are managed to go out, we will do that on dumb stones, which is not a good result at this point. Now we can do this a little bit more stylish way, but still not the best way. We can try this drive in, like drive out Tetsuji. This time we can call it out because we are going out, which is again starting with the Atari, and black is just push. Oops, misclick. Black is just push and push again, and again white has nothing to do but just answering here. Also now maybe white can say, okay, you can go out, I fix my shape here, and that's pretty much it. Because again, what happened here? Black played on dumb moves, no use of these stones, no shape, no base, no eyes, nothing we gained here. And again, white played outside. White is happy with this result, and okay, we succeed our goal by going out, but that's like, okay, we won a battle but we lost the war, because globally this is a perfect result for white. Locally, okay, we managed to go out, but that's all. So maybe we should look for a more effective way, and here now the proverb can work that we don't want to Atari that cutting stone, but just threatening to capture it. And this time this move is the key move here, because now if white would like to capture that one stone, which will happen, we can do a clever sacrifice here. And it's really important to notice that to gain a shape, to gain good shape, sometimes we need to do a little sacrifice for the greater good. And this time, if white capture the two stone, we can give this Atari for free. White need to take, and now if we connect, as you can see, black became really strong, because black has at least two options to settle himself. If white protecting the corner, let's say, then black has a nice way to jump to the center, or playing a Keima here. So black has actually some ways to go out to the center with a good shape, with a strong shape. Also it has some forcing move against the bottom group, like N4 or O4 or any moves like that. So, and if white would like to prevent, for example, the Keima, then we can simply just go to the corner with R3, for example, or R2 is also possible. So this is a much better way for black to settle himself, and also this is like a one-way street, because of course white can consider to playing the Atari from S7, but then we just connect and we already have an eye, which is good enough, and we are not heavy, we are in the center, we are out, which is really important. And also if white just protect the corner, we can, for example, push here and settle our group even more. We can make it strong, even more stronger. So this is a success for black here. Now let's see the third one. Now this looks a little bit tricky, because and try to imagine this situation without the bottom area, without the market stone at 4. So it looks like it's pretty easy for black to go out. What happens if we just play extend here? Now the thing is, if we extend with black here and white managed to play this move, the black shape is already bad, because of course we would like to connect, so we need to play the empty triangle, and the empty triangle shape is usually not a good shape. its lack of eyes, the white shape became more stronger. It has more options to go out, for example, or gain shapes, and our stones are not really effective. Also, if we would like to play some other moves, for example this, then the cut can be a problem here. Or even if white just push, our shapes are not that good at the moment. The cutting point is still there. G12 would be really annoying. So this is not really a good result. And this time, as I said in the very beginning of the video, sometimes we might end up with a bad shape, but that's the shape which can work in a special situation. So this time we need to play F11, and it looks like, yeah, what happens if white play this Hane? And of course this is tricky, because if we Hane as well, then white can just Atari, we need to connect, and white managed to cut our stones. So this is of course bad, but if we play this bad shape, or bad looking shape, like I said in the very beginning of the video, now we have two vital points at least to play. If black play this now, this is a little bit better, because now if white would like to go out, he needs to do that like that he is damaging the two other white stone. So this is not bad for black right now. And if white played the other vital point here, that means that we can play D12. So these two vital points are like VI for us, because if white play one of that, we can play the other one, and both is damaging the two white shapes. So right this, one of the white shapes will be in trouble, and that's a good enough result for black here. Now the last example here is in the bottom, and the thing is, it's not so now black needs to settle himself again, and this is a little bit tricky, because usually we don't play a move like G4, or this is a little bit unusual, but it can happen then in a position. This is the best move. So now it looks like the most natural move here is F4, right? But the problem with F4 that it's gote, and if white just play this move, now the cut at H4 is hard to handle. I mean, not hard to handle, but we end up in gote, and we are looking for a better way than that. Because if we just play here, then we did pretty much nothing, right? So somehow we would like to gain center here. That's the main goal this time. And how to do that? This time we need to do some not that good exchanges here, but this technique, which looks a bit weird because white can just simply capture that one stone, but now we can solve the cutting point in center, because now if black tenuki, let's say somewhere, this is not really a problem, because we can end up by connecting here. The cut is not really a problem. And now we could solve the cut in center, even though we paid a little bit here, but not that much, and our shape becomes strong. We managed to settle it in center, so this is again a success for black. Now let's jump to some other problem here, and this time black ignored the G9 tsuke and played H11 cap. I believe this is a capping move, and play this vital point, so he would like to attack white here. But this is a little bit premature, because black forgot that he is not that thick around, and also white has a nice way to settle his stones at this moment. And let's see how white can fail here first, because why not? What happens if I just simply connect? Now the problem with this move is this is not fast enough, this is not effective enough, because for example if black playing this pip, this can destroy your shape a little bit, or damaging our shape a little bit, or black can just simply continue the attack, continue putting pressure on us, and we didn't really gain anything with G10. Same goes, for example, this move, which can prevent the cut for a little time, but if black plays this vital point, we still need to connect, and this shape again not so effective, and the black shape is getting better and better. So this time we need a better option in these moves, and we need to use somehow the fact that of course E9 is in Atari, but somehow that this time we can use it. And if black say, okay, I capture this, now we can end up with a connection which at least put a little pressure on the black stone. And even though it looks like this move by black is troublesome, because now we have two cutting points and we cannot really protect those two cutting points with one move. But we don't need all these stones to win the game or settle ourselves, because here if black cut, we can easily sacrifice that two stone again for the greater good, because like this black managed to capture the two stone, but white ended up with a really strong shape, and actually we can even protect our cutting points in center. So this sacrifice technique, this tactical sacrifice, is a really good way for white to settle himself and also threatening black and attacking black. So all of a sudden black was the one who started to attack, and now he is the one who needs to take care of his shape. So this is a fantastic result for white here. And this can happen if we are just focusing about local things. We are focusing on small things like that two stone, and we forget the global issues, like that black is also lack of base and two eyes in this situation. So let's see two more example here. Now in this position white played the Atari, and as black somehow we need to prevent white to break through and letting destroy our territorial framework or moyo, what we are looking for in the center and the right side. And again, like in the previous variation, the previous example, sometimes to gain a good overall shape, sometimes to gain a good global result, we need to do a little sacrifice. We need to let some stones go, which has not much tactical or strategical meaning, and this will happen this time too. The question is how, because we can end up also easily with a heavy stone. If we try to save every stone, every single stone, like if we try to save this one and let white break through, it looks like, okay, it's not a big deal because we gain a wall, but actually this wall has some really troublesome defect now. And even though it looks like, ah yeah, we can sacrifice that 3 stones too, but that's getting a little bit too much. And also now the white top area is looking like it's kind of already solid territory, so it's a lot, and we still have cutting points, at least 2 cutting points we need to take care. We end up in Gote, and it's start to look like that at some point white maybe won't even invade, because that's not needed, because we paid already too much on the top area. So this is not a clever way to sacrifice. This is not a good tactical sacrifice what we are looking for here. So instead of that, we would like to just sacrifice the 1 stone here, because like this, if white take, Now white can consider to fight a ko here, for example like this, but that ko is not really a good way. Of course white can squeeze here, which might looking a good technique here, but the problem is that white has just too many cutting points to take care. I cannot even count how many cutting points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cutting points. Of course the black shape looks like it's dumpling, it's not so effective, but the problem is for white here that it's impossible to fix all those cutting points with one move. Even the half of the cutting points is really difficult to fix with one move, so this is not really a good squeeze here. And also white cannot really fight the ko here, because white has no ko threat, because this is the very beginning of the game. And of course he can play some ko threat here, let's say some random tsuke, but taking this one stone is just too huge to ignore. Even if white play one more move, he just play this hane, and we can easily say the game is pretty much over for white, because this is too much loss for white. White cannot afford to happen that. So it means white cannot really resist here, but to need to connect. And now if black also connect, this is a much better shape like in the first variation, because this cutting point at M14 is not a problem right now, and the one stone at G13 is much more easier to sacrifice, because this time we are developing much more faster. And of course it looks like again the top side is getting much more weaker, but the shape what white gained here is not that strong like in the previous example. And also we have some nice forcing move before extending. For example, this Kosumi we can play for that, and now extending. Now the black shape just much better like in the previous variation. Also, if we are afraid of the two cutting points, we can also protect it with a nice shape. And now I would say the black is happy with this result, that's for sure. Also maybe some alternate way, like not playing the Atari, but for example jump. But again, I would not let that Ponduki happen, because again we pay a little bit too much. Opa. Like this. And this is again the better shape which we would not like to give white. And let's see our last example here, which is this one. Now here it might look like the game is still pretty much in the very beginning, in the opening position, and it shouldn't be that difficult to settle the two white stones. But actually when we are looking for a shape, we should look for the whole board, like I said before. And this time white not just want to settle the stones in the lower left corner, but also would like a shape and would like a group which can attack C15. So when we are looking for a shape here, or a base or a group, we would like to gain something strong to attack C15. And now the most common move here is E5, but this time it might not good enough, because if black just extend and we need to protect here, black can just tenuki here. And of course we have some nice follow-up at H4, but because O3 is low and strong, black is not that much afraid of this move. And even though black need to play this bad looking shape, black is not bad here as long as he can prevent the cut at F3. And also white need to take care two group here. White has a cutting point at E6 as well. H4 is lack of base and shape as well, so this is an okay result for black. And this is not so good for white at the moment, because white need to take care too many things at the same time. And also we miss the chance to attack C15. So what else we can play? Now we might consider d3, but again that's not good enough, because if black just play the Atari and connect here, for example, black ends up a pretty strong shape, and if we would like to try attack c15, that wouldn't end up really good, because first we should play a move here, avoiding to close inside white, but then again white can just play c11, and again we miss the chance to attacking c15. Also black can consider this move, the extension at e2, and now if white cut, which is a usual follow-up, that's again not that effective, because locally we played the Joseki, locally it looks like white became strong and steady, but again we missed our chance to attack c15, so the result is not that good for white globally. Locally it might look fine, globally actually it's not good enough. So what else left for white? This time we need to play this crosscut, and the aim here that we are not afraid to sacrifice some points here for the greater good, because like this it looks like that, yeah, black can easily capture these stones, but the thing is that now if we just simply playing like this and attack here, this should be okay for white, because in the same we have, I mean, we play a pincer and also we do some development from the wall, but this might be a little bit too vulgar, not that effective for white, but the goal is like attacking c15 is making it a little bit better for white, but still we might can get a better result. I mean, the shape is not that good because we paid a little bit too much here locally, but globally this is fine because we can develop from the wall, and also at the same time we can attack the c15 stone. What else white can play here? Now, for example, if black play here, we can extend, and again we can do some nice sacrifice here. But the problem is, like this, we miss the chance to attack c15. So probably this is not good enough again. Even though the shape for white is not bad, because after capturing the one stone, it's a really strong shape, but this is again not fast enough. And though we ended up with a really good shape, globally we are not good enough. So what else we can play here? Well, maybe we can play this, but it's maybe pretty much the same like this. It's a little bit better shape because we gained an extra move at b5. Also maybe we can consider this schema. Now the difference between this and the Atari, that it's a bit faster shape now. And by that I mean, if black connect like this, black ended up with a bigger wall, but we also ended up with a bigger wall, which means we might can go even closer to white, and also we can end up with a bigger left side. And also the move at h6 is shining. I mean, after the attack and most probably will end up with center, we can also play h6, which is a really big move on this board. Now the question is if black can avoid this result somehow. Well, black can say, okay, I capture it immediately, but that's not really a good result, because like this, black became really over concentrated. Again, we gained the void what we were looking for, and again we can just attack the c15 stones. So this time, even though that I mean, this is of course not really good for black. So looks like this is the best what black can gain here. I mean, the previous variation. And this looks like locally this is fine for black, because black gained a lot, and also the white shape is not perfect. But like I said, sometimes we need to look for the wall border instead of locally, and maybe it's locally this looks better for black, but globally this is better for white, because from the wall we can not just develop from the wall, but also we can attack C15. So it has dual purpose, and we have a nice continuation here. We have a nice way to develop the board. And so that's all for now for this video. Of course, later we will continue this topic as well. We will go to some deeper or much more complicated kind of sequences, how to settle ourselves in more difficult situations. But I think these few examples were a good example to see that we might end up with bad shape or bad looking shape which is the only move here. We might end up with a good shape which is just not fast enough. Also sometimes we need to do some clever sacrifice. Also sometimes we cannot save everything, and also we don't need to save everything to gain a shape, to gain a base. So as I said before, this topic is not that easy, and we need to consider many things while trying to settle our stones. And I really hope this short video can help you guys understand this topic a little bit more, and leave a comment if you are looking for this topic more. I mean, if you would like to see the next video about it, or if you have just any question, and also suggest for the another topic what it should be, what you would like to see here, maybe some pro game review again, or a simple game review, or a very new topic like attacking, invading, or some Fuseki problem. Any kind of topic or any kind of suggestion is welcome here. So that's all for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Bye.